It's 5:30, so we will call the Loudon County Regional Planning Commission to order. Would you stand with me, please, and pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Ron Bright.
Here.
Jim Brooks.
Here.
Todd Kennedy.
Here.
Keith Buckles.
Here.
Pam McNew. Here. John Napier.
Here.
Leon Shields.
Here.
Mike Waller.
Here.
Jimmy Williams.
Here.
Do we have an approval for the minutes of October 10?
Mr. Chairman, I found an issue, but it's been corrected now. The last action item on page 2 of the minutes, it was Mr. Waller that made the motion and Mr. Kennedy seconded the motion.
Okay,
So, but Ms. Birchfield is correct.
that has been corrected, okay. Is there a motion now to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So be it. Planned agenda items, two of the issues, H and I, will be scratched. And we have been asked to add a K, that one lot will be divided into 4. Is that okay with everybody?
I'll make a motion to add.
Okay.
Second.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we will hear it out. A, consideration of plat amendment to move sidewalk, applicant, Cook Brother Homes located at the Grove at Cedar Hills. Is there a spokesman for the Cook Brothers?
Yeah, I'm John Cook. It's actually for the Heritage Land Development Partners. I'm not sure if that was incorrect on the white paperwork or not, but basically at the end of the cul-de-sac, do you have where you can pull it up by chance?
I can find it quickly.
At the end of the cul-de-sac, as you go up the top of the hill, there is a massive drop-off on one side of the street where it showed the sidewalk. We're asking to relocate the sidewalk to the other side of the street, and put a crossing in there, as opposed to putting it on the side where there's no earth to put the sidewalk on. To put a sidewalk in there, we'd have to put a retaining wall and put a railing for that sidewalk to go around that side of the cul-de-sac. And there's no homes on that side of the cul-de-sac. There's no lots over there.
Okay.
I was gonna try to pull that up for you. For what it's worth, this is just what Mr. Cook wanted to do is come and present to you what it is. And he's gonna go through, once y'all hear this, make a recommendation, he's gonna amend that plat. And that plat will come back for y'all for approval. But it is as he specified toward the end, there's a very steep grade. It's just merely moving it to the other side of the street, but
Does that take care of the runoff issue?
the runoff issue is a separate matter. The complaints in regards to runoff are at a different location of the property. This isn't going to affect that. John has sent me a topo that I got today, not had full time to go through it, not had time to meet on site. The only thing I can say as far as that would go is he and I will need to just get together, meet on site, look at what it is, look at what we have, and then come to whatever we need to make sure that is addressed. Whether that is, hey, we're not graded per our plat, or having the engineer to evaluate his runoff to make sure we're still in compliance with our runoff numbers. It was obviously the engineers calculate runoff, and where we're taking that, and we want to make sure we're in compliance with that. This is in a different location, to be fair, and I'll show you if I can get this thing to pull it up. I apologize.
I guess the sidewalk change kind of helps with the ADA safety as far as if that's a drop off, it's in a safer position.
Yeah.
Do you have any problem with that, Jim?
I don't have a problem with sidewalk change, no.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a move and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So be it.
Thank you.
B, road closure request applicant Cynthia Stafford, tax map 033L, parcel 01900, located at 318 Port Madison Drive, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 1. Ms. Stafford, you want to come up and address this?
Yes, I would like to just close that road since it has no purpose for anything in particular.
Okay,
Ms. Stafford, and she can help me, she owns, this lot 7 and these adjacent lots also, am I correct in
That's
stating
correct.
that? I've
There's
talked to
5
the,
of them.
yeah, and I've talked to the highway department, they don't have a problem with that closure. So by closing, she actually owns both sides. Any adjoining, any other property owner, this thing's moving fairly slow. I believe they have access off of a, different road, but this is an unimproved right of way.
But the lots she owns, would they not need to be combined, or we're landlocking them? Right?
It would. Right now, what they have is an unimproved right of way. Should have to improve it in order to obtain permits. And I don't know if her intentions are to combine or what your intentions, how that would help you in closing that.
Well, I would like to sell it at some point, the property, but I would like to put it all together as far as all the 5 lots.
I don't particularly have a problem with the road closure, but I do have a problem closing a road to a lot that's gonna be landlocked.
Well, there's
Absolutely.
Even
a
if she
road-
owns it or whoever owns it.
Right.
Well, there's a one entrance to Port Madison, that road would be, and then there's one off I believe it's Daly or around Cuddy.
And I understand what you're saying, it's gonna cause these lots, which actually have right of way, someone to go in and improve access to lots. If she closes that without going ahead and combining the lots, that could be an issue. Of course, if she does elect to combine the lots, that would resolve it, obviously.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be able to combine all of them, of course, until we do release this right of way.
One of the issues with this, there's only 50 feet of, enough for a road up into a certain point of the back lot. And then there's only 25 feet, so in all honesty, unless something really changed for the road, there's only 25 feet for passage, the way that it's plotted at this time.
Is that something that if it were recommended, it would be based on the combination, combining the lots?
I guess you could set it contingent upon
It
combining
has
the
to be
lots.
that. I mean, you couldn't close the road and keep the lots like they are, or she could put them up for sale. Right?
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to issue permits, and even to issue permits, it's a little suspect anyhow, right? Because we don't really have a road, all we have is a grass right of way.
So she
somebody's-
owns all the lots that are on this road.
Adjacent to where
Adjacent.
she's looking to close, yes. Here, these lots and these lots here are all owned by her.
So you make the motion contingent upon it joins the lots and it gives her the approval to close the other lots when she deems so, but it's not valid until she does so.
Yeah, she's gonna have to combine these things, obviously, because it's gonna close it, it's gonna landlock them, and then, of course, what they're saying is they don't want somebody buying a lot that they have no access to anymore, and then coming in and trying to get variances to gain access.
what happens if that happens? Does that road reopen, or?
We close it now.
Yeah, they'd end up having to have an easement, and it would set you back, if somebody bought this whole parcel, it'd be different to where they would have to come in and make an improved road to be able to do this, but, if she were to combine them, then all this.
How many
goes away.
acres is,
Yeah, so-
what is it, 5 lots?
Yes,
How many
she
acres?
owns-
I think it's 765.
About 765. About 7 3/4 acres total.
I wouldn't care, Leon may have done it, I wouldn't care to make a motion that we close it contingent that it may all be one track, and that's the only way it could be sold. She can't break it up in lots and sell it.
Or you want to try to market it as one parcel?
Yes, sir.
So that's what she's wanting to do.
Yeah, she needs
I'll
to-
second his motion.
Okay, got a move and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay? C, subdivision plat for 3 lots, applicant Frank Harvey, tax map 022, parcel 049.00 and 050.00, located 2005 Palmer Drive, AF/F1, Rural Residential District, District 6, approximately 11.5 acres. Mr. Harvey,
Yes.
go ahead.
Gonna walk over here.
Anywhere you want.
Okay. Right now, this parcel is one tract. It's owned jointly myself and Ann Harvey, seated over there. And what we wanted to do is split it here, so we have this parcel, which will be deeded to her, this parcel will be deeded to me, and we'll straighten up a little line up here for some outbuildings. Any questions?
So the 2 lots to the right, on the lower side are not included in this.
No, none of this. This is where I live, my wife and I live, this is where she lives, and over here. So she has that, we have that, and then jointly we own that. And we're simply wanting to split it too.
Jim?
Yeah, part of this lot line here corrects a zoning violation. Phil did a review on this. He said that does correct that. Everything's in order to be approved.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So be it. D, subdivision plat for 44 lots. Applicant Michael Gaddis, tax map 036, parcels 024.00, 067.00, 068.00, and 069.000. Located in Friendsville, A1/F1 Agriculture Forestry District, District 3, approximately 93.5 acres. Mr. Gaddis,
Yes, sir.
go ahead.
Yes, this is the plat we brought last month that was tabled, and I know there were some questions that I believe have been answered. Jim has talked with Mr. Chris here with Sterling Engineering, and he's been on the engineering for the project.
The drainage issues is what you speak of, I see.
That was right. I believe all that's been addressed.
And the road grade issues.
So the BZA, which meets immediately after, he's requesting a variance, obviously, from sidewalks and also road slope, one of 12% on the entry, and is at 13.5 toward the rear of the subdivision.
That's right.
That is correct. So he is on the BZA agenda to ask the variance from those. Our meetings are backwards, so, I think any approval would be subject to that approval, obviously. There was some questions as far as runoff and drainage. Sterling Engineering had looked at an area where they're creating some catch basins that drain back toward the initial road, and they enter the ditch line there. They looked at that culvert. I think currently there's an 18-inch culvert in place, and I think Billy Pickle told me Mr. Gaddis may have had that put in. They determined that's inadequate, that's gonna be replaced with a 30-inch culvert, if I'm not mistaken. Talked to the highway department, they were okay with that, the rest of it was okay. They've shown that all their lots have buildable area for the structures. They've included some drainage easements where they're using the natural drainage of the land to get back to the lake. It is,
This right here.
the only thing I had left that, for me, that was of any question is where we drain out this cul-de-sac here, we have a catch basin here. Y'all have indicated a drainage easement on the plat, it does show this, and it comes down here and it contours through this area. Does that easement take that flow? Is it contained within the subdivision, or does it cross another lot?
We're redirecting it over to Mike Gaddis's marina lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that it was hatched out, it was shown on the plat as being directed that way, I want to make sure that is covered. So,
Was the road commissioner okay with the the grade variances?
he was, yes, sir. I think Mr. Gaddis has expressed his intent to have this as a private road, is that correct? Right. No intent to ever request it being taken into the county? That's not.
You're happy. You're happy.
Yes, sir. The biggest challenges I thought we face is making sure we're not creating any runoff to the adjacent property owners. And that's where we were concerned, and of course, as the engineer expressed, really, the road's the only improvement they're making. Their flow has always had a natural drainage path, and that's why they went back and looked at that culvert at Alexander that will have to be replaced.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
We got a move and a second, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Good to go.
That is contingent upon the BZA.
Yes, sir.
Right, I meant to put that in there.
We'll
It's
hear it here in a minute.
contingent on the BZA.
Yeah, contingent.
Got a question?
Yeah, where at on the addition road is this? It's off of Antioch Church. Antioch Church?
I said Unisha, I'm sorry, Antioch Church.
Antioch Church, okay, that's all.
It's off Alexander Road, isn't it? Or it's actually on Alexander Road.
Right, yeah. The entrance will be off Antioch.
Don't worry. I'm not. Yeah, that's what Go ahead, Blake. Until next. Oh,
Yeah, thank you. E, commercial site plan applicant, property owner, Michael.
You didn't have to say that.
Come back up here. Commercial site plan applicant, property owner, Michael Gaddis, tax map 044, parcel 025.00, located 4277 Highway 321, C2, General Commercial District, District 3, approximately 5.82 acres. Okay. Where are we now?
I think yeah, and that's, we combined two.
We're approving the site plan now.
Right, we
Okay.
got one lot now, it was two.
Okay. Two into one.
That's our at 95 and 321?
It is, and Digger's Road.
Okay.
Jim, you okay with it?
Is that,
I am,
is those contour marks?
they are.
So you're gonna cut off the top of the knob and build it up?
Basically, I
Okay.
cut the bill.
Yeah, Phil reviewed it, said everything was in order.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I missed it, I'm sorry.
Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. F, subdivision plat for 3 lots, applicant property owner, true to life, tax map 017, parcel 088.00, 088.03, 091.00, and 092.00, located Lake Point Wilkerson Road, A2 Rural Residential District, District 6, approximately 5.54 acres. Okay,
Richard May here representing the
Richard.
developer, Mr. Patton. Be glad to answer any questions. This is part of a subdivision plat that we recorded a year or two ago, and he's adding an adjacent piece of property to it. And that's the purpose of the plat.
So as he said, this is an adjustment of the existing lot lines, everything stays compliant. You had this one lot over here, this 2.35 acres, you can see this lot line is being removed, combining that lot. The rest of the work is up in this area, just adjusting some lot lines, everything appears to be in order.
And we heard this several times in the past, haven't we?
Many times. Everybody thought it was dead, because it didn't.
This is the most confusing plat I ever saw.
It's pretty busy.
This is actually not part of West Side Estate, which is on the other side of Wolverton Road. It's a separate piece of property.
This is the parcel that we had to separate the house from the adjoining house, so this is the same one.
Yeah, we've heard that, yes.
That's not on this plan.
Yeah, it's not part of this, fortunately, he stayed out of that area.
Which parcel's being added, Richard? I don't-
Say again?
Which parcel is being added?
It's not a partial addition, it's a change of the lot line, correct, right here?
Yeah, it's being, Mr. Razor's property is being added to the other plat.
Okay.
We're eliminating this.
Eliminate that little corner lot that Razor owns up there.
If you don't have any problem with Jim, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a move and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay.
Thank you.
Thank you. G, subdivision plat for 3 lots, applicant property owner Deborah Wilkerson, tax map 007, parcel 042.00, located Harrison Lane, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 5, approximately 3.33 acres. Ms. Wilkerson,
Yes,
what you got?
we would like to have just one driveway. It will be all family living on the property in the 3 different lots. So what do we need to do to make you happy? Were we a flat note or?
Was this existing subdivision already?
No,
No.
what y'all are reviewing is this 3-lot subdivision for approval.
Where you put the driveways, no problem.
Okay.
We don't,
So we can just do one at a time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
so,
thank you
you
very
okay
much.
with the plan?
It's in order, yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Thank
Opposed,
you very much.
nay. H has been taken off, I has been taken off, we've dropped down to J. Subdivision plat for 3 lots, applicant property owner Joyce Price, tax map 067, parcel 042.00, located 5750 Markwood Drive, A1 Agriculture Forestry District, District 4, approximately 4.
Basically, we own that, me and my husband own the whole, well, a little over 4 acres, I guess I should say. But anyway, my husband's elderly, getting elderly, and that's really all it is. The front acre up here, already has a septic tank and water access to it. The only thing is the bottom, the end acre there, we will have to have water and septic put on it.
Yeah.
But it's basically just to deed it off and give it to my grandkids.
Jim?
Phil reviewed it, everything was in order.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. You're good. County Commission action on planning commission recommendation. Yeah, skip K. Jim, you wanna introduce this K?
So this is, Mr. Hare's asked to be placed on the agenda tonight to kindly expedite some things. I've done just a cursory review of it, everything looks in order, but if the planning commission does make a recommendation based on the review, we'll do a thorough, make sure everything is in order, and then send him on his way to approval with your all's blessing.
How many lots?
It's a 4-lot subdivision, so it's 1 into 4, is that correct? And did you place them copies up there?
Yes, I placed it.
Okay, so, yeah, it's 1 into 4, like I said, just a quick glance at it. It looks to me like everything is in order.
Where's it at?
It's off of Watkins Road, up near the intersection of Malone, is that correct? So this parcel sits up on the, if you come off the 72, it sits up to the left.
So it's 1 to 2 and 3 acres. 1, 2, and 3 acres, so it's not a little bitty lot.
No, 1.89 is the smallest
Yeah.
lot.
You ain't got no problem, what you saying?
I don't, we'll just make sure everything.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. Back to number 4. County Commission action on planning commission recommendations. Jim, anything?
They, County Commission approved all the things we sent them last month, with some right-of-way closures and our amendment to our cold weather paper.
Coast Department Building Activity Summary for October.
I don't have anything new to add than what's on the sheet provided.
Any comments from the public before we adjourn? Update from the planning department.
Nothing new to add.
Do I hear a movement to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Well, I told Joe he could tell.
Man in the burn.
Steve will do that, Steve will do that. He won't even ride together.
I did that.
They ride
Carry a bucket of water.
I still hadn't heard anything from, Sandy. Sandy's got no
Really?
So, so she wanted to train, she got a new PT, and she
I
wanted her
dug to
train.
my
so
son's
she-
sort of down there, my son, I'm wondering about down there, that must have been down 3 feet deep dust.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know,
Whenever they go off,
Dad.
she has them set down there for this thing. So when it goes out, I'll stop.
All right, I
Get your
appreciate
back
it.
up
It's
to
a
do.
dynamite.
I know, same.
She's like, Steve had already.
Y'all have a good night.
You know, was it?
No.
And luckily, he had already done that, just in 2 days, he had poured water in the hole and everything.
See ya.
See ya. We're ready.
Need to call the Loudon County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. Need a roll call.
Ron Bright.
Here.
Jim Brooks.
Here.
John Napier.
Here.
Leon Shields.
Here.
Mike Waller.
Here.
If you're gonna speak on any subject tonight during this meeting, you need to stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you may give in the causes now pending before this commission be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Roll call. We done it under roll call. We call you. Everybody read the minute?
Yes.
I move, we accept.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Planned agenda item. Variance request for rear and side yard setbacks, applicant property owner Susan Bentley, located 7125 Maple Hill Road, tax map 050, parcel 078.00, A2 Rural Residential District, District 1, approximately 1.23 acres. Mr. Bentley? What you got?
So we purchased this property with the building already on it, and we've come to find out that there was a easement, a right of way, so it looks like we're a little bit close. So we just wanted to come and make sure that we can get approval. The building is already there. We purchased it 8 months ago, I guess.
Any problems, Jim?
Just to make sure we're clear, you got me, make sure I'm telling you correctly. I had a complaint of a business being operated from this location. That's how it came to our attention. There's some documents laid up there. The gentleman that had this building built, years ago, he got a variance for the size of the structure going on the lot. At that time, he stated, I'm gonna put a mobile home up there and put something on this lot. And of course, that's never taken place. The Bentleys have since purchased this property, and there's been some issue there. And as I understand, they're now looking to convert this from an accessory building to a dwelling.
Yes,
Is that
yes, it's
correct?
basically a barndominium.
So the building would not meet the setbacks for a dwelling. It only
Well, there's
meets-
not a house there now.
There's not a house there
No, sir.
currently. So it would only, it would only meet setbacks for an accessory building as it's in location. Do you have any idea approximately how far off each property line you are?
The property line at that very closest corner, like I said, it's kind of not the rear, it's right there. It's hard, it's so growed up, you can't get in there, and those pins are hard to see, but it's about 20 feet, maybe a little less. And I don't, like I said, you can see the property line, but you can't even see a line, without cutting trees down, and that's a government right-of-way of some kind in there, I don't even know.
I think it's Tellico Village's border that they place around the village. They do little borders around their lots.
And that's because it's TDA or something on the paper or
Where's
something.
this at?
Maple Hill.
Border in Tellico Village?
It does border Tellico Village, yes, sir. And it's going down Maple Hill just before you get on Tellico Parkway.
Yeah.
That's that dwelling with the fence around it, the rail fence, the plank fence in front.
You don't even know this
You don't see the
back
building,
there.
you can see the roof now that he's cleaned trees, but, that's Nowata, right behind us.
Yeah.
So is
But you're not gonna make the building any bigger.
no, sir.
They're just gonna convert it from an accessory building to a dwelling. If you look at this lot, there's not really a whole lot of room to place a dwelling on this lot. And the guy that got the variance before in 2014 never did that.
So we're kind of just cleaning it up on a pre-existing building, but the purpose is different.
Could be, there was on day two, their rear property setback, the line he was discussing would be 30 feet typically. He's looking like he's about 20. I'm not sure what this side is.
And even with the lot, it looks like a hardship anyways to try to put that building there. So, Mr.
Other
Chairman,
than accessory, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Anybody got any more comments on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. You're good.
Thank you.
Item B, variance request to occupy camper until home is constructed. Applicant property owner Clint and Brittany Buttry. Tax map 054, parcel 017.09, located 17544 Pond Creek Road, A1 Agricultural Forestry District, District 4, approximately 15 acres. What you got?
Yes, sir. So just requesting the variance for the next 12 months to occupy the property. We've got everything pretty well set in place to have a structure built, home built, primary residence. And so we just want to occupy the property until it's done.
And you'll remove right after the CO is issued?
We're moving right after the series, yes, sir.
That's the person that issued the complaint here?
Yes.
Anybody got any comments?
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah.
do.
Stand up.
If you don't mind, step aside and let them speak.
We've known the Buttries since they bought the property in 2021. They told us they were going to build a house. They lived in a camper. We allowed them that time to build.
Without a permit to do so.
Yes.
They lived in a camper for about a year.
Here, we came down because we heard some chatter through the community, that they did not, have permits or anything for what they had. We came, I spoke with Mr. Jenkins and Mr. Cunnelson, both. An inspection was done where they were living, it did not pass. And then they had a variance, which he came here, we did not know of at the time. I have a copy of it with the minutes saying that Mr. Buttry stated electric, water, and dirt work had been done, and they were needing an accessory building to store equipment while they continued to work. The building inspection by Mr. Cunnelson has already done prior to this variance and meeting, so Mr. Buttry was not honest with you guys at the time, and they have been living in this building ever since July of 2022. This meeting with this variance was August of 2022.
So you living in a camper or a building?
In both, we're occupying both of the properties.
So what is it, I mean, what do you plan on doing? Are you gonna move out of the structure now? I mean, are you gonna build an actual house?
Yes, sir. Yes,
You know.
we had plans to do so. My wife was not working, and the plans that we had, we just weren't able to get the loan for. And so my wife is going back to work. We changed our home plans, and we're actually going to be able to get it started in next year. And so, like I said, we just had to change all of our plans because what we had planned didn't work. And so that's why we're here requesting.
Let me clarify, you said start within the next year or be complete, CO'd and out of the,
Be complete and sealed and
in the next 12 months?
In the next 12 months.
So by November of next year, you're removed and in the CO'd for Jenkins, regardless whether the house is built or not.
Yes, sir.
What's our concern, that this has been
This
going on
has
since
been
June of 21,
Yes, sir.
that this is, the intent
And
is
we
maybe something different.
took Mr. Buttrey at his word and.
But it's
his
not
wife-
been, we've not made any action on it. So we're giving him, if we vote it through tonight, we're giving him 12 months and then something will be done.
But he's living in a structure that's not been approved.
Ain't nothing been done about it up till tonight. This is the first we've heard about it till tonight. We've not took any action on it.
On him living in a house.
On
What-
him living in a house, camper, or whatever. This is the first thing that's come before us. So we're starting anew tonight.
Okay.
And if we
Is
pass
he living in
this,
an unsafe condition? Jim?
I've not been to the property, and being honest, I can't tell you what he's occupying. So
Has that
tonight
house
we-
got power and water?
So Mr. Buttrey had a building permit to build a dwelling, which is the structure that is up there now. He obtained a permit for that. He missed some processes, there's some issues with the building, okay? And so he elected to say, my best option is to let this be my accessory building, which is what I want anyhow, my garage, and get a variance to have an accessory building prior to building my dwelling. That's what we approved the variance for. And he changed that to an accessory building permit. Now he wants to be able to obtain his building permit. No, he hasn't moved as quickly as probably he would like. But tonight's request is for him to be able to occupy the camper. We're not talking about living in the garage. It would be to occupy the camper for 12 months while he builds his house. He has, in discussion with him, he understands his financing is in order now, as I understand. He understands that whether he starts his house, October 31st, come November 1st, or 1 year from this period, he will no longer be able to occupy that camper. Whether his house is complete or not, he'll have to make other living arrangements. He is aware of that. But the previous request was to do an accessory building without a principal structure.
So my question is, can he live in the garage?
No.
So,
He can occupy the camper, he can live in the camper, the accessory building is just that, it is an accessory structure. That doesn't mean he can't occupy an accessory structure, okay? Accessory buildings are used for many things, but it's not gonna be used as a dwelling. People have accessory buildings for storage of goods, they put their cars in it. Some people have TVs and bathrooms and hang out there as a game room, that's an accessory building. He could do that, but to use it as a dwelling to live in, sleep in it, he would not be able to do that.
Well, could we then request that the camper be pulled out where we can physically see, because we believe they're actually living in the building?
Your role is just as a neighbor, the enforcement falls upon the county, so it would be the county or DCS or DHS to do the inspections. Yeah,
And we had the camper out, just like it's being requested right now, and then it was complained that we're not allowed to have the camper accessible and visible from the road, so that's why it's parked behind the accessory building.
I think my primary question is, we understand everybody comes through hardships and in the past is the past, and you're coming forward and you're asking for a request for 12 months. It appears you have a family in the back, so my concern is if you're a person that thinks your family's safe and they can live in that camper for the next 12 months, I feel like our moral thing to do is try to help a family that's trying, but there's a lot of things and a lot of factors here. We've kind of dropped the ball a few times and missed some deadlines, but it looks like you got 3 or 4 faces back there that's going to depend on you the next 12 months.
that's seven total.
So I would make a motion to do so. However, what I would ask the chairman and the Jenkins and the code enforcement office, keep your family safe, try to hurry and get your dwelling done and move into your new home.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you 12 months, but at 12 months, Mr. Jenkins gotta do his job, so.
Yes, sir.
You know, try not to burden the neighbors as far as, you know, changing your goals or your direction or your timeline, and the county as well. So I'll make a motion to do such.
This is something that we've done before, to let you two know, to allow people to do this. Obviously, we understand your complaints.
Well, we would completely understand if Mr. Vetri would have came and talked to us and let us know his situation, but who complained about the camper?
Well.
I think that's a good point.
That's-
You know, he's here standing good for him and his family,
And
so.
I'm gonna second this, I'm gonna second this motion. I just wanna make it clear that we heard you, and he's also, you know, committed to doing right this time, and committed to completion, and understands the, you know, the problems that would happen if they failed to do that.
And understand,
That should back you up.
you understand the consequence if he does it now. So as a neighbor, you know that come
And-
12 months
and
from
I-
today's date, you don't have to worry about your enforcement. Jenkins will handle it.
Well, our concern was the amount of time it's been going on. It's been going on since 21, so.
And we respect that.
And
We
your
respect
loan
that.
has gone through.
We've already spoken with the bank and, everything is set, yes, sir.
We don't want you to think that your voice isn't heard.
Right.
However, we feel like it's out of the hands of the neighbors and it's in the
Well,
enforcement of
that's
the
why
county.
we came here tonight, because we tried to reach out to the Vetris. I sent them a text and tried to call them, and they just ignored it.
Mr. Chairman, you have a lady in the back.
I know, and that's kind of,
This is a lady who has been welcomed into our home, which is a very nice structure. It's very beautiful. She gave me the mirrors that now hang in our little bathroom in the garage.
Yes,
It's
I
very safe and beautiful for our family. And she's been singing my praises as a mother and my children for the past 2.5 years. So I feel completely betrayed by these people for no reason.
All I ask is, folks,
And-
that's a
Let's get
domestic
along. Let's
issue.
get along.
We're doing
Let's
an
get this
enforcement.
done.
So
I
please
know,
take your seat.
I
Get
just wanted
your
to
house
say
built
that
and
I
get
don't
along.
understand their problem against us
Mr.
and why they're
Chairman,
making a
there's a
family
motion on the
of
floor
got
and a
a
second.
motion
I
and a
call vote.
second.
homeless.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. You're good. You got 12 months.
Thank you.
Wait,
I just wanted to ask you if you guys have a GC that you have a contract with already? Or
we
you
have-
guys acting as your own GC?
We're acting as our own GC.
That's what they did when they constructed this building.
item C, variance request on road grade, applicant property owner Michael Gaddis, tax map 036, parcel 024.00, located Fransville, A1, F1, Agricultural Forestry District, District 3. We've done discussed it. It's gonna be a private road.
Yeah.
How much grade is it, Jim?
I think he's got 12% at the entry, our maximum buyer regs is 10%. I think he has 12% at the entry and 13.5 toward the end of the subdivision.
Yep, that's correct.
For
About 500 or 600 feet.
Oh, 'cause both of them are about 500 or 600 feet each, plus or minus.
And Pickles looked at it, Pickles,
Billy was
somebody
okay.
ain't got nothing to, but he's,
Yeah, he was okay with that.
anybody else got anything in the audience? Y'all got anything in?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. You're good. Item D, administrative review for zoning clarification, application Dustin Whiskey, tax map 080, parcel 054.00, located 6621 Highway 411, M1 General Industrial District, District 3, approximately 16.43 acres. How's this zoned M1? It's in the city.
It is in the city.
It's in the city. How's it zoned M1?
It's in one zoning in the city of Greenback.
No, it's not. We got a problem. There ain't no M1 zoning in the city of Greenback. So where we gonna start?
I would say, based on the only maps I'm aware of in the zoning.
I understand that, but I'm just telling you what they're arguing. And there ain't no zoning in the city of Greenback, so somebody's gonna have to come up with some answers.
I would agree. I'm gonna stick by the zoning offices and let the
That's
attorneys for
good.
the
If
city
we
work
pack,
that
if
out.
we go through with this and it's zoned M1, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if
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 there
the
is no
rock
M1
quarry's
zoning,
not
you gotta-
zoned in the city of Greenback, and there ain't no zoning in the city of Greenback, and we got a problem.
I fully agree. I'm not sure where that's gonna land.
All right, tell us what you got.
Well, yeah, that's part of why we're here. When we purchased this property from the Hill Estate, it was at one point, used for heavy industrial purposes. It's the old AccuPowder Greenback Industries building. It was decommissioned, I think about 2 decades ago, give or take. When they decommissioned it, they brought in some scrappers, they stripped out all the utilities. And the
Are we
building-
talking about the whole property, or is it just part of it?
It's essential, that's the property there. There's about 120,000 square foot of buildings, along the front there. And then the back section is just part of a lot kind of over.
But it's not, there's a lot that above it there, that's hills too, isn't it?
That's
lower.
correct, that's correct.
Okay, so it's not that part,
It's not that
okay,
portion,
I
no,
got
sir.
you, I got you,
Just the one that's highlighted currently.
I got you.
And so the buildings are in varying states of disrepair. Structurally, a lot of them are in great shape, but the roofs, the siding, doors, varying states of disrepair. There's no electrical wiring in most of the buildings. There are a few that have been, by Mr. Hill, that he did basically restore, he wired them, and they're currently being tenanted out to some light manufacturing. We have a weld shop and a machine shop currently operating there. And when we look towards restoring this property, we want to make, the capital requirements are quite substantial. We look at kind of our phase 1 restoration of this property. We have a budget of about $300,000, and for us, that's a substantial sum. And so we want to make sure that as we move forward in a way that is acceptable from a zoning perspective. And so, as per our understanding with the zoning M1, we have the capabilities for some light manufacturing purposes. We look towards use cases maybe a bit more zoned commercial in mind. We'd like, I guess with this property and its sprawling nature, we have about 7,000 square feet that we'd like to divvy up into smaller units, about 1,200 square feet, 800, 1,200 square foot units, and be able to turn those over to smaller businesses. Think of, for example, electrical companies, HVAC companies, plumbing companies, where they have some dry storage, they have secure storage to stage their materials, maybe work on some equipment, things like that. Kind of a company that could maybe take it out of the garage as it were, but they're not ready for 4,000, 5,000 square foot building. And we see a pretty strong use case for about 7 of those in this initial restoration phase of the project. And we're trying to determine with this zoning where it stands, what are we permitted to use or to use this space for, and what are we not? And do we need to maybe look towards some sort of exemption or reclassification? Ideally, that's not the case. And we had the opportunity to talk with Phil a bunch, and initially he thought there was no real concern, and then we talked it out more, and he said, well, there may be some ambiguity there, and we recommend you go before the board. We had the opportunity to speak with the mayor of Greenback, Mr. Dwayne. He seemed quite on board, at least with what we had intended and planned. But as we look to investing this capital, we need to make sure, obviously, that we're doing this in line with the zoning and its permitted uses.
So this, he come back and talked to Phil in September, so basically what they give.
Come back from who?
Phil.
Oh, I thought you said Dr. Phil.
No, we need him. I'll give you a comment outline of an email of all these type of uses they were looking at. And when you look at the Greenback zoning, warehousing and storage is allowable use in the M1. Light industrial is allowable use in the M1. So doing some light manufacturing, things of that nature is allowable uses. So the concern with that is taking this property and they're looking to develop the other areas. You see down here, there's 10 more acres they want to use. Similar.
Potentially, at least, yeah.
Potentially, so, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I saw this is they're looking to take this building, break it up into individual tenant spaces to allow these different uses. So you might have some light industrial use going on, but over here in this section of the building, you may end up with warehouse and storage. So you have two different uses occurring on the property, or possible exterior type parking storage facility.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, there is some lot space here on kind of the southern side, which could be used, say, for, say, a landscaping contractor or something, you know, with some machinery, some equipment. Maybe something along those lines, but that's less of a concern or priority. It's primarily the building space. And this idea of basically making sure that, you know, we're all on the same page here, that we have proper direction as to the permitted uses. And so we're somewhat flexible there. We just want to make sure that if we proceed forward, we do so in good standing, as it were.
Well, I think with what Jim said, you're good with what you're saying.
Mhm.
But before you make a commitment with somebody, you need to check with Jim if it's something outlandish. I mean,
Yeah, I think the things where he would run into issue is when he started talking about, and again, it's been a while since I read this, but we're trying to make some tenant spaces where we have offices for a landscaper or a contractor or somebody, and then we have our little storage areas in the back, and that stuff, by greenback zoning, actually belongs in a C zoning district.
Okay.
That's the last of the page here where we started talking about that. Gets a little more into the C, so really, I was under the impression you hadn't purchased a property yet. And
Oh, we were initially discussing, we hadn't, we had it under contract, and we ended up purchasing prior to getting some clarification.
Yeah, I just
So-
wanna make sure the board, you know, if we're looking at a mixture of we're allowed one principal building in Greenback. That's what he's got, so obviously, we're not gonna be able to create multiple principal buildings. But the concern was having multiple uses.
would that
We
be
got industrial
something-
here and
Would that be
storage.
BZA or would that be zoning?
It's really, it will be BZA to discuss if we feel that what he's proposing, the mixed use of storage and also light industrial, should be compliant to allow that multiple uses on the property and making sure that we're enforcing BZA correctly. Now, if the BZA wanted to say, hey, yeah, you can have an office and let your contractors have space back here, that would be where they'd come to BZA and discuss it and grant a variance if needed.
Right,
Or,
but the reason I was asking that is if it's a zoning like you're talking, ultimately, that's gonna be Greenback's decision. I mean,
if they were rezoning, but yeah, they're not gonna request a rezoning.
So everything he's doing is going to come through BZA.
If he, yeah, I think the multiple industrial, I just didn't know what your thoughts are about the industrial and then having the storage use, cause I think you mentioned some warehousing, correct, somewhere in this?
He's on a floating, multi-use lot without, the problem is, how do you throw restrictions to keep him within the parameters of, you know, assembly versus machining
I ain't
versus
got no
storage?
problem with it. Look at the place now. If he does anything to it,
I would agree.
if you do
I would agree.
anything to it,
Well, yeah, we have a, you know,
you can't have a
I'm
strip
looking forward,
mall.
I mean, it's looking better already.
Are those regs specific enough that he can see, you can do this, you can't do that?
Yeah, they are for,
I
in a
mean,
lot of them.
As far as office
Well,
space
he's
is not
getting
really
at
part of it.
multiple things.
It's more a matter of, like, you know, for example, a lot of this came out of the fact that we were looking for some space. We needed about 1,500 square feet to run a pool company, for example. Somewhere to park our van, put our equipment, stage some materials that we have. And you look for a space, you know, so you can't really technically do that out of your garage, right? So you're looking for space to do this, to try to take it to some professional standpoint. And there's not really anything affordable. You know, these units.
I wouldn't look at that as an office purpose as much as just a material and equipment storage,
It would be
an operational
storage.
facility.
Well,
Well, and that's where
office,
Phil
he
was
could
saying,
have
is that, you know, it
office.
kind of ties into
It's all about how you word
warehousing,
it.
essentially, but.
It does.
I mean, it's,
I'm with Buzz.
if he does it, anybody else got anything?
Do you have a recommendation how your motion's made?
I think it's
We've
just
made a
administrative
motion.
review. I think, I'm just gonna note on here, you know, based on the board's opinion that, you know, the facility would be acceptable, obviously, for some light manufacturing, even some storage and warehousing on the same property within the facility. And if he has to do any additional clearing, site prep, exterior storage, additional buildings, then he's gonna come back to see us for. a
Or
site
some
plan
kind of
review.
special industrial use.
Yeah,
That's exactly what we're looking for, just to go in that direction.
So you don't need a motion.
How do you resolve the issue that for us says it's not, the Greenback has no M1 zoning? And yet this is M1.
Currently, I feel like Greenback has the M1 zoning classification and districting within the city. But I wouldn't argue with Mr. Brooks.
Oh, I agree with you, I'm with you. I'm just telling you what the lawyers are saying, and what Loudon County's lawyers saying.
I hope that is resolved quickly.
Oh, I do too, I do too.
Should
We
we
good.
expect any
We're good.
concerns there at
We're
all? I'm
good.
not familiar with what.
It ain't nothing to you.
Okay, thank you.
No, you need to go with what you got.
As long as you don't build a rock quarry, we'll be fine.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Good luck.
E, variance request for front yard of 22.5 foot for the purpose of a retaining wall. The wall will also serve as the front of a new pool house. Applicant property owner Michael Cody, tax map 036F, parcel 017.00, located 1539 Gilbert Lane, A1 Industrial Forestry District, District 3. All right.
Well, so, first of all, I apologize for wording short, it's actually been a little bit more formal. Basically, this is an old map, I don't think you can really zoom in on it, but I actually had the lot lines marked, and this line is actually a considerable amount more that way, and this line doesn't even get close to the house, for what it's worth. But I did read the bylaws and understand that these properties were supposed to be combined in the survey, which I've provided. I've already paid to have that done, to combine both lots. And essentially, I wanted to put a pool house right here. You can't see it great from this map because I've cleared out the land, but as soon as you get to this point, it drops off like 12 feet or something like that. And I've got roughly about 100 linear feet of retaining wall to build. I'm sure you guys can imagine, that's not cheap. That's probably my biggest expense with this, actually. And so what I'm trying to accomplish is that the retaining wall serve as the front wall of the pool house. So by moving it forward a little bit, I'm able to accomplish that instead of having a giant gap, so to speak. Because otherwise I'm gonna have to put like one retaining wall that's 100 feet and then back up off of it 22 feet. And then we'll start building the pool house, and now there's basically a corridor that's gonna be created. And I would really love not to do that. The second thing with it is I'm able to move the pool house a little bit closer to the road, which is not very far in front of the house. And I understand that's what the rules say, is that you're not supposed to have something in front of the house. But it's very, very close. It's not much. And then that will allow me to also move the pool up a little bit closer out of the flood zone or the TVA line. So that's the reason for the request.
Jim?
He's got some topographical issues, if you're familiar with Gilbert Lane. It's pretty narrow. A lot of the houses sit pretty close to the road, as you can see from his. And it is a steep drop off. Obviously, for him to be able to move forward, use one wall, eliminate any hazard there, pull his pool away from the lake and the flowage easement of the lake would be a benefit. I think he does have topographical issues though.
Does he have to have a variance for putting an accessory structure in the side yard?
Not in the side yard, he's combining the lots, but he is setting a little bit forward of the house. As he was stating, and so that's technically the distance off the property line that Callie's setting forward is the whole reason for his variance.
I'm still honoring the side setback as well, sir.
Anybody else got anything? Anybody in the audience got anything? Everybody against it?
I thought it was a retaining wall. It could probably be about 10 or 12 feet.
You understand that's gotta be engineered, right?
Yes, sir, I do. I'm a GC.
Due to the hardship, I'd make the motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Anybody else got anything? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise.
Thank you, man. Well, here, I have one more question. Because I'm actually in profession, I'm the owner of Vision Construction. I'm an ABC contractor as well as federal contractor. I'm the acting CEO of Silver Line Pools. And I'm finding myself ending up more and more in planning meetings. Was my behavior acceptable? Like, is it okay to raise your hand and ask a question and things like that?
If
it
it
was my
ain't, we'll
first
tell
time.
you, shut up.
Mr. Brooks, I know I'm gonna like you, I appreciate it.
Item
Have a
F,
good day. Hey,
special exception to live in existing home while building a new home. Will remove mobile home after CO is provided. Applicant property owner Tyler Massey, tax map 007, parcel 086.01, located 13835 Highway 70 East, R1 Suburban Residential District, District 5, approximately 14.07 acres.
So I am living in a mobile home up there right now. I'm gonna be starting construction on my permanent home just as soon as I can. I actually close on the loan Monday. I'm here to ask if I can live in a mobile home while I build my home to protect, you know, my tools and stuff like that. I am gonna be the builder, so I think construction will be a year. I'm gonna push as fast as I can, as soon as the house is finished.
Does he really need that, Jim, since he's living in a mobile home?
He needs, yeah, what he's looking for is to be able to have a building permit because he's got a second dwelling.
Okay.
So unlike the others, you know, he'll basically remove the mobile home prior to.
You are
taking the
gonna
CO.
remove it when you get your house.
Absolutely, as soon as the construction's done.
Okay.
What kind of time frame do you think you're on?
Do what?
What kind of time frame do you think you're on?
I mean, we're going into winter, we got rain, but I'm gonna push as fast as I can. I would,
12 months enough?
I would hope so.
If you need more, just come back. I'll make a motion to approve.
Yeah.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Anybody got any opposition? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Anybody else got anything to say?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. We're adjourned.
Laura, don't run off. Let me catch you before you go. I need to pick your brain.
I've gotta pick your brain.